Ooh, long time no see, dudes. And proof that a Prenny does not have to be thrown to be able to fly. Kinda, sort of. But I don't think I've covered so much territory in so few days of my life. 4 airports and 4 states on 6 planes. But I'm home, and I guess I'm ready to roll this piggy down the hill. I can't believe I just referenced Tom Green. Meanwhile, welcome to the PrinnyCast Roundtable, a casual weekly show where we talk about what we've been up to and all the various gaming-related stuff from over the last week. We're your hosts. I'm Chris. This is Grover.
Hello.
And Mike is away for multiple reasons. We were thinking about postponing one more day, but he was working late that night too, so we just get it out there because it has been so long since we've been here with you guys. So, and no, your video is not broke. This is our trial run of the super simplified version of the podcast version of the show. If you hate it, let us know. If you like it, let us know. There'll be less edits, so you'll hear more of our ramblings, as well as less concerns over time limits and stuff like that, though. If we get a little too long-winded, we'll be splitting the videos, so they're not too much beyond 12, 15 minutes, somewhere in there. That's a little much for one sitting for a lot of people. And all at the expense of those background videos. But on the plus side, no whining about copyright infringement from bots. That's really funny because of how much they let slip by on YouTube. You can find just about anything you want, including porn, on YouTube. But let us show a game trailer. Oh no.
And now we have to hear about that on Twitch, too.
Yeah, that's in our game news shortly. And that's another thing. Our game news is going to be mashed into our roundtable here because we had such a long vacation. That was 3 weeks of game news to get caught up on, including Gamescon in the middle of it. Gamescon. Sounds like some sort of laundry detergent or something. So, animated game news should return next week, so we can just settle ourselves a little more in the meantime. But, yeah, man down, and all of us have had such a long break, we're probably a little lazy, so sorry about that. But we'll try to make this still an entertaining show. And speaking of entertainment, what have we been playing this week, Grover?
Well, for the past, actually, 3 weeks, I haven't played much at all, or I've been playing a lot of the same thing as usual. I played some Field Runners 2. The game is absolutely dead. I mean, you can't even get the developers to talk about it. If you talk on their Twitter, you get no answer. I don't know. There were supposed to be expansions and stuff for it, but they just decided, well, we're just going to do nothing and abandon this game, even though it was highly popular at one point. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of sad. I played a little bit of Final Fantasy XIV. I have not played much of it at all, really. I mean, when it comes down to other games, I think I've played maybe 4 hours in the past 3 weeks of Final Fantasy XIV.
That's not a lot for you, no.
No, not at all. And I renewed my subscription for it. I'm paying $14 to play it. I'm paying $1 an hour to play it now, or more. It's not really worth it. Maybe I probably won't continue it unless, something changes. And I played more Kerbal Space Program. And I like the career stuff where stuff started costing money, but it really didn't stop me from advancing much faster than before, so I kind of lost interest because after I figured out all the missions, it was a lot of the same thing, so it's just so that was alright. And then I played Robocraft. Robocraft is fun, and it can be frustrating too, because there's some really good players, and for people that don't know, Robocraft is where you build your own ship or tank made from cubes, like it was from Minecraft, and then you send your ship off to fight other ships. And some of the weapons are very effective and very powerful, and you can one-shot people if you know what you're doing, which I was doing it at one point too. You get really strong, get to the higher tiers, and then build a ship that's tier 1 was a really powerful weapon, and you just go to the first area and just start murdering people farming. Yeah, you're killing other players to farm. And yeah, the game's still extremely alpha. They're trying to nerf the plasma weapons, but they can't, because no matter how much they nerf them, they're just that awesome. So
kind of strike off. Yeah.
Then I play Timon, tons of Timon. I mean, the game's always on in the background. It's on the background right now, collecting experience.
You both man. Speaking of which, it's Ragnarok time. Go ahead and click into that.
Yes, it is. I was about to say.
Okay.
Oh, speaking of Tynan, we did all that. Yeah. We interrupt our program for Tynan.
Timing for Tynan.
For Ty Bob. And, that's really all I've played. I've just played a lot of a couple things. What about you, Chris?
Well, obviously, for about 2 weeks there, I didn't play much of anything. There was a little bit of Tynan in there simply because we were trying to keep up a little bit with what was going on, but for the most part, it got ignored, and we had other people playing our accounts. But I am back on it, sadly. Spent 4 billion coins on the most powerful riding mount in the game, and come to find out it takes another 400 million to transfer all the stars I put on my last pet onto it. So I have to do a whole bunch more saving, otherwise I backtrack myself. I'm actually weaker than I am. So that was a nice little welcome back.
That was a big middle finger from the game.
All that time pulled away from ruining and everything else for that stupid mount, and it's not paying off yet. But not much on the Congregate front, though. I've played quite a few of the front page games. There's nothing that really caught my attention too much. But did dabble a ton with Steam games since I've been back, though. A few minutes here and there, really. It's Savant Ascent, which I thought was going to be kind of an indie platformer game, and it ended up being like a hybrid shooter, almost rhythm game. The way you have to dodge the characters is really strange. I'm not sure I'm enjoying it. I like the steampunk aesthetic, but it's kind of different. And then there's Cannon Fodder 3, which I played the first one on the Sega Genesis ages ago, so I didn't even know there was a Cannon Fodder 2, but I picked this one up in a humble bundle sometime in the last year and a half since I've been doing those. Finally got around to playing it. A little simpler than I'd like, but it's okay. Crusader Kings, I have seen this game everywhere, even before the bundle started tossing it in there constantly. It's one of those rule your nation, slow-paced strategy games that's more about, actually taking care of the nation you're running rather than the armies and everything like that, but that's included too.
Huh.
But this one has one of the weirdest interfaces that I would imagine if this would have been an older game than it is, it would have been one of those games that shipped with a Unix manual. Try that again. Not everybody remembers Unix. A phone book size manual, because I was just absolutely confused of where I was supposed to go and how I could do things, and I'm pretty good at finding my way around menus like that, and I managed to start work on one farm, I think, and that's about the most I did in 30 minutes, and I gave it up.
Oh, wow. I gotta try that game.
Peggle Deluxe. My mom is all into Peggle and what's it called? Wordworm? That is not right. Bookworm. She's all into Bookworm, so I thought I'd give me a little more Peggle time on my Steam version of it, since I also have it on Origin. The Super Buggy Imagine Me. I knew it was one of those platformers that was made by a itty bitty little indie company, and it actually seemed to be praised by some people. I could have sworn it was. This is probably one of the worst indie platformers I have ever played as far as you gotta try this game sort of stuff. You get stuck on everything. The physics mechanics are really messed up, and the stages are randomly generated in a way, I think, so they're really boring. I don't know. I probably will not get back to that one too much.
It's random generated big rig truckers.
It's a lot like that, yes, because I was falling through certain blocks, and I knew that wasn't supposed to be. But I did get back to Windforge. There was apparently a big update with that one, but I didn't see new changes or anything. But I did get me through yet another one of the temples, so I'm slowly progressing my way through it. Finally tried out Orcs Must Die, because I've had it and its sequel for quite a way. An update from Microsoft Starter 2010. Why would you be telling me this? Get away. Something about Orcs Must Die. I've had them forever too, and I thought they were more like the Overlord game, where you are like a central character and you gather your minions around you and you do weird random stuff. No, this is actually basically Dungeon Defenders. I was really surprised to see that. I'm enjoying myself and all, but I don't know. I expected something a little deeper than third-person tower defense game, and quite a bit. This is the stuff I actually put some decent time on, of the XCOM action spinoff that everybody kind of groaned about when they heard it came out, because they wanted a true XCOM game, which I think we did get like a year after. But The Bureau, I don't mind the game. I actually like some of the aesthetic they're going for. There's not a whole lot of video games set in the 1960s, I can say that right off the bat, but it seems to have a major issue of never giving you enough ammunition, and for a strategy game, that's actually okay. That's part of the challenge.
Yeah.
For a action-heavy third-person view shoot-'em-up, that's bad.
No, bad things.
Especially since you do not get exactly a ton of health, and you don't just hide behind something to regain it back like in a lot of other games. So that's a bad thing, trying to smack people with your energized fist when they're shooting at you like you're part of a peanut gallery? Okay, maybe that too, but a shooting gallery.
Oh, it's like Max Payne.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Without the slowdown time thing.
Without the slowdown time, and no bullets.
With Max Payne, you always were running out of ammo, but you had slowdown, so you could conserve.
Mm-hmm. And also got back to Burnout Paradise a little bit, which is, of course, the series famous for crashing cars everywhere. But this is the one that actually is like a sandbox thing, so you can travel all over the place. It's not just the single tracks or something, which I'm not sure I really like. It makes it harder to find the places you want to play in. You actually have to drive there, and it's not bad. It just seems like a lot of wasted time. But haven't worked on the RPG at all. But starting next week, I'd like to either get back to at least some of that, but also the Prinny Plays, or at least some of the more casual gameplay video stuff that we've talked about last couple episodes. Speaking of which, you didn't upload a single thing during all that time.
I did not. I don't know what was going on with me. I was like, I'm going to upload this, and this. I didn't do jack.
Well, it didn't sound like you played exactly a ton either.
No, I actually I haven't been feeling so well, but plus I'm getting ready to move too. It's just like the move comes again.
Yeah, that move smooth delay kind of threw you off a little bit, I think.
Well, it's just when I try to record in this house, usually there's a kid or just something that's distracting, and I always worry that I'm going to be recording and they're going to distract me, which I have to stop and screw around with my video. It'll be a lot better when I can go into my house in the middle of the day. I know I can do recording without somebody interrupting me. I'm not exactly bouncing to go back to Twitch after the stuff they're pulling recently. So
it's not as bad as it first sounded, but yeah, we'll definitely be getting to that in a moment. Matter of fact, that's all I've played, so probably could kick right into that and just open up with that one instead of the Gamescom stuff. So long and short of this for everybody, the few anyway, that doesn't know, not long after Google bought the website of Twitch, which is a game streaming website, there was a bot system that was put in place that's very similar to the I like that. To the copyright hunting monstrosity that's on YouTube. It was kind of a fumble because the Twitch team admits that it got it running a little sooner than they had intended, that there was a lot of issues with it. They did not warn people in plenty of time, but still, as I understand it, the bot only looks over archives and highlights. It does not work on the live streams, so most streamers will probably be safe with all of this stuff, but it's hard to say how much of the crackdown will actually affect games, because there's a lot of full motion video stuff that's always getting flagged on YouTube. There's soundtrack stuff, and definitely a lot of people who play like music from other websites or playlists off like their Zune or iTunes or Winamp or something, and that stuff can be hunting down a little more. However, CEO Emmett Shear was answering some questions on Reddit, and they were saying they were going to do everything they can to work out a lot of the system issues over the next few weeks, perhaps lengthening the 2-hour highlight limit that they imposed on it, because as far as I knew, there was no limit before that, or if there was, it was like 10 hours or something like that.
Yeah, there was no limit at all. So and they've also got rid of Save Forever.
Yep, I heard about that too.
I really don't like that.
Well, you can understand that is a lot of bandwidth being used up for, and server space that's being used up for something that maybe nobody will ever watch, and it's hours and hours worth of stuff. So I understand them wanting to streamline it, but there needs to be a compromise, because one of the major things that a lot of people were bringing up is there's a lot of speedrunners out there who do RPGs, and if you can beat an RPG of most any caliber in under an hour, it's either a very old one, a very buggy one, or you're doing it wrong. Yeah. So it's hard to put all of those in one big file up on there if they're going to change all that, but they're going to work for that, which is good.
Yeah, hopefully they really work on it. That Hitbox server provider that they have now, they got a major boost recently because a lot of people jumped ship left. Yep. They're just like, we're not going to put up with this.
I don't know how many exactly, but I know at least 2 or 3 of the people that I watch say that they're moving.
Yeah.
And I don't watch that many people, so the fact that several people are on my favorite list is moving over to Hitbox, so yeah.
It was enough that Twitch got startled by it, I'm pretty sure.
I imagine so.
I mean, I'm not exactly sure what they thought exactly was going to happen when they implemented the system. Did they think that people were going to smile and dance? And they even said themselves they released it way too early. It was buggy. At one point, it was muting more than half of the people on Twitch, including the Twitch people themselves.
I understand almost the entirety of the Dota community was getting banned.
Oh yeah,
and that was definitely a mistake.
Oh, big mistake. They're getting banned for playing a game they play constantly.
Even the tournament, the stuff that Twitch promotes, they pay to promote. That's what I was talking about. The people that that pay Twitch were getting banned, blocked, and vice versa. Twitch actually puts money towards some of those contests, so that there were some screw ups.
Yeah, some serious ones. Hopefully they get it together.
If you do have a channel on Skype, and the off chance, and you do have problems, just send to feedback@twitch.tv to report it, and they're going to try to work with just about anybody on any situation. So
you said Skype.
Did I?
Yeah, you said if you have a channel on Skype.
Whoops. Twitch, channel on Twitch. Say it one more time. Channel on Twitch. Then again, I could just leave all this in. That's part of the reason for this new setup. I can leave all my blunders in there. There you go.
I had to really think about was a blooper in my brain, or did he say Skype? And I had yes, he said Skype.
At least you caught it. I wouldn't have.
Yep.
We're doing it live.
Doing it live.
They are saying that they should not have any problem with video game music itself being banned anymore. So if it is, that's one of the things to take up with them. But the muting of any radio channels or something playing over while you're doing your game, that's a whole different ball game, because that is a completely different group of people who have not been quite so accepting of streaming their stuff. So
yeah, that is true.
The record labels have been pretty notorious about putting people in jail over this stuff. So I doubt they're going to let it fly. fly. So just warning anybody out there, then, you know.
You're no longer safe on Twitch. If you want the IRA to try to sue you for millions, please keep playing your radio on Twitch.
And that's not the Irish Republican Army. That's a different group of people. But, yeah, Gamescom, that was kind of a big deal. That's the European version of E3, more or less. More or less.